Shalini. Shalini, let's start with where did you start your journey and how did you join TCI?
Great question, Rashid. So my first interaction with TCI came through my own personal experience with coaching. So 6 years ago, I reached my low point. I was battling anxiety and depression, and a coach was part of the team that I assembled for myself to go through that healing process and end up where I am today. And she was ex-TCI. I then had a manager in my day job who was also ex-TCI. So this was kind of bringing the school into my focus, and working with the coach myself, I identified coaching as the pathway for me. So that led me to sign up with the school earlier this year, and I was where all of you are at my Fox intake weekend, probably about 2 days after I did my discovery call, and then it was all gung-ho from there.
So wonderful. What was your life like when you started as a coach? What were some of the challenges? What it was like?
Yeah, so I think once I reached the point where I'd rebuilt my confidence, rebuilt the work, which was my primary focus when I first started with my coach, I got to a point where I realized that I'd done the work and it wasn't enough to stop there. So I then started thinking future, potential, where can I go from here? And that kind of gave me the kick that I need to take the step and start my coaching career. So I think it was being in a position where I felt stuck, similar to the clients that I'm serving now, felt stuck, felt like I wanted more, refused to believe that where I was my future. And that's really kind of the push that I needed, I think, to start my own journey with coaching.
So good. Me now, and Tanya, you brought up something really good. So I want to ask a question on that from all of you as well. Once you started your journey, Shalini, at ICI, what was it like? What support did you receive? What's the journey been like for you? Training, systems, support?
So I resonate with a lot of what Tanya said. Feel the fear and do it anyway is the mantra that I live by. Funny story, I had a first client who I had signed up as pro bono. She was willing to pay me and I said no, because this was probably in the few weeks after I did my Fox. And I was thinking, who am I to be taking payment from a client? I don't know enough. Like, I don't feel ready. Didn't make that mistake again, by the way. That was the first and only time I did that. But what I realized was the community is there as support. The content is there. The resources are there. And you want to keep the momentum going. When you have people coming to you saying, I see the value that you can offer, I want to work with you. I sort of shifted my thinking to, who am I to stop that happening? If people are wanting to come and benefit from what I have to offer, I don't really have the right to say, no, I'm not ready. So I say yes, and then I lean on the community. I use the resources that are available, and then I get what I need in order to serve my clients. So that's kind of been how I've navigated it. It's very different for me because, as you touched on, Rashid, you know, I was probably that perfectionist in my previous life, where get the knowledge, study hard, have everything I need, and then I take action. So taking immediate action felt very uncomfortable for me because it was a real shift from how I'd been living my life up until this point. Whereas now I know the fear is going to be there. I don't wait for the fear to not be there. And I've actually changed the relationship that I have with fear now, where when I feel that emotion coming through, I now tell myself, I'm about to grow. Like, this is exciting because I know that I'm coming out of the comfort zone.
That's a really awesome conversation. What was it like before that?
Before I moved to that mindset?
Yeah. Like, what was your relationship like with fear before?
Oh, I had a very strained relationship with fear. I played it very safe. So I lived a lot of my life in my comfort zone because the consequence for me of failing was too much. And so I would play it safe. Exactly. I would stay in the space of what I felt skilled at, what I felt competent at, and trying new things. While there was always a part of me that had that curiosity and wanted to play in new spaces, I was very much restrained by fear because I had a huge attachment with my self-worth. So I would think, you know, I want to try that thing, but if I'm not good at it, or if I fail, what is that going to mean for me as a person? So I look back now on so many opportunities that I passed up because I was playing it safe.
Wow.
Now I've got to a point where it's more painful for me to stay in the safe zone. So I'm more driven by, let's give it a crack. If I fail, that's okay. I'll learn something from it. I'll grow from that experience. So the personal transformation that I've gone through, even in the last 5 months since starting my journey with ICI, is huge. And this is after having already done a lot of work prior to that. It's kind of uncovered opportunities that previously I didn't even think were possible. Being a business owner was never something that I connected with. So the coaching side of things, it seemed like a natural progression for me with my career. I've always been in the people space, in the change space. I've incorporated a lot of coaching, as you sort of touched on at the intro. But being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, I was like, that's not something that I would ever do. Why would I be that person? So now, even the fact that I'm running my business on the side, I'm now thinking about this, is so far from what I could have imagined even like 5-6 years ago.
So wonderful. And how far you've come in like 5 months. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a ride, loving every minute of it.
Yeah, having paying clients, like that's really awesome. So you got paying clients. What do people invest with you? What was your first paying client like? Because that story is always really exciting. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so first paying client actually came from my existing network.
Nice.
Because off the back of my Fox weekend, I took action. I put a post out there that talked about my own experience with coaching. And I said, look, I'm here to serve anyone who's interested. Didn't quite anticipate the response that I got in terms of people who were keen to explore coaching.
So good.
Yeah. So I started off with a few pro bonos and then had the first paying client come through. Felt every emotion before that first session, because the transition from pro bono to paid, again, it was that limiting belief going, do I have enough value to provide this person? They're now paying for me. So I feel I need to step up. I need to deliver to a certain standard. But what I didn't quite appreciate was the value that I was providing just from giving them the space to have that conversation, just from listening to what they had. And this is a theme that I've noticed with a lot of my clients, where they say, I've never had this before, a conversation where I can speak openly, speak without judgment, and just bring everything that I need to the table. So I changed my perception around value. I think having that experience going, even before I say anything, even before I bring my knowledge and the tools that ICI has provided me, I'm already delivering value that's worth charging a person for.
So wonderful. So what did they invest with you? Like for a session or 6 sessions, whatever your package might be?
Yeah, so I leaned on mentoring because, again, I hadn't worked this stuff out when the paying client came through.
You reached out to a business mentor as a professional coach, and they helped you work out your package?
Yeah, so I have regular mentoring sessions similar to what the other coaches have spoken about. And I put in the question saying, I've got someone who wants to pay. I'm not going to say no the second time. What should my offering be? So the advice I got was great around packaging sessions. So get people to make that investment up front. Nice. Again, it was that fear of, they're going to pay $900 because I'm charging $150 a session. $900 up front. That's making me panic. Like, do I have that amount of value to deliver? But I thought about my own experience with coaching and how that investment really motivated me to show up in a way where I had to get results because I'd invested this money up front. So now being in the coach's position, I thought, if someone makes that investment up front, they're much more likely to show up in a way where they're going to get results. So that is really the offering that I run with now, where I package up 6, 9, and 12 sessions. I don't really offer individual sessions. That was what I wanted to do at the start in terms of playing it safe. Like, if you like it, then you can do another one. So that's pretty much what I've stuck with.
So good. So you got anywhere between let's say $1,000 to $2,000 worth of coaching package, and you've got like 6 paying clients, and you're like 5 months in. You got 2.5 years to go. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. I love it. So good. I love it. Well done, and congratulations on being able to speak on stages as well. That's really awesome. You're nailing it. That's so good. Now, I've got a question for all of you. I love that we're creating business successes, but I know that all of us here business is amazing, but we do this because we love making a difference, changing lives of other people and having a wonderful impact on other people. So I'm curious, I want to ask this question from each one of you. What does it mean to you that you get to make this impact now? How does it feel to live this life? I'll start with Shalini and then come to Katie, Sesh, and Tanya.
Great question, Rashid. So I think having been through the coaching experience myself as a client, I knew the impact that playing in this space could have on other people. And that was really what gave me the push, I think. It's like, I want to help other people feel how good I'm feeling right now, having been through this experience. But
Yeah.
I think for me, it's going back to core. I've always been driven by service. I've always been driven by people. So coaching now, looking at it, it's like, well, that was an obvious move for me. Like, why didn't I do it sooner? So
I love it.
it doesn't feel like work. And you know, the challenge for me is navigating coaching on top of full-time work. And that was probably a fear that I had to overcome when I was starting this process, because similar to what was touched on earlier, I was thinking, I don't have the time, I don't have the space. But I remember I did my Fox weekend after a long full-time work week. And I was thinking, you know, how is that going to feel 3 days on top of the week? I felt so energized from that weekend. I remember thinking, man, I could go and like run a marathon right now. I'm riding so high. But for me, it's really shown me when we're in the space that aligns with our core, when we're doing meaningful work, it doesn't actually feel like work. And sometimes I have to pinch myself going, I still find it crazy that I can build a life doing something that I love that doesn't feel like work for me, where I can have a significant impact on other people's lives. I have the freedom to work however I want. Like, I do have to pinch myself regularly going, man, how crazy is it that I get to do that?
Oh, I love it. Great. Thank you so much. Give it up for Shalini. What a wonderful share. I love it. I love it. You get to live a life you love. And I trust do you want to do this full time in the future? Is that what you're aiming at?
I'm with Sesh. I'm a lifer. So I've set a goal within 18 months that I'm going to move coaching to being my primary income. But yeah, the goal is to do this full time.
You're only 5 months in. Have fun. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Years, so
exactly.
have fun.